Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm an exercise enthusiast, and for the sake or for the purpose of this video, I was kind of surprised I got the job. Okay, let me preview uh, a little bit. I had been to Gainesville Health and Fitness a few times before, actually just once before. Once before, 2 years before I applied for the job. I went during spring break. I actually did a tour of Nautilus Studios, about 5 different ones, and Gainesville Health and Fitness was the last one. It was the one that, uh, at the time, it was the mecca for high intensity training. If you wanted to actually learn about high intensity training and experience it fully and completely, Gainesville Health and Fitness was it. All right. Um, I, at the time, had been living in Ocala, Florida for 2 months. I was actually occasionally going to Jumbo Lair to see the MedX presentation. Saw Joe Cerula there a couple of times, talked with him. Um, and when the business venture in Ocala didn't work out, it wasn't mine, it was someone else's. Um, I went up to I moved up to Gainesville, or went up to Gainesville to get ready to get the job there. I was still living in Ocala at the time, and for a couple of maybe a couple of weeks after we got the job, after I got the job. Anyway, um, they have a 3 interview process. On the first interview, my first interview was with Bart Paul. Bart um, interviewed me. It was pretty much a normal interview. He interviewed me in one of the sales offices. It was normal interview process, just one on one. And from there, I was moved forward to the workout interview. Now, the workout interview was the next day, or either the next day or a day later than that. I can't remember that part. I passed the first interview, normal questions of your work history, exercise experience, things like that. I really pushed hard on that to make my, at the time, Nautilus HIT were very intermingled. In fact, we referred to it more often as Nautilus principles than HIT. Um, I really emphasized my knowledge of Nautilus principles. Um, and Bart even said that I was very knowledgeable, maybe even more so than most of the people there because of my association with MedX. Anyway, there's a big difference between knowledge and experience, as I was soon to find out. I got I arrived for my workout interview prepared. The trainer for my workout interview was Jamil. And at the time, Gainesville Health and Fitness had 5 lines of Nautilus machines. They were leg extension, leg curl, pullover, arm cross, chest press double machine, lateral raise overhead press double machine, plate loader bicep, plate loader tricep. At the end of that routine in the workout interview, Jamil had added chins and hammer leverage leg press. It wasn't hammer, and then it was the Nautilus leverage leg press, same design. At the beginning of the workout, he sat me in the leg extension. Um, he told me he was going to approach it as though I didn't know any exercise at all, which was the best way to do it, and started the workout. Before he started, he told me he was looking for 3 things. One, my knowledge of form, my knowledge of, he kind of indicated he wanted to see what my level of effort was. Um, my knowledge of high intensity training, but also how bad I wanted the job. That was a key part. We want to see how bad you want the job. So I quickly showed him. Uh, the very first exercise I did, leg extension, I immediately learned that I had not been training hard enough for 3 years before, 4 years before. I had not been training anywhere near that hard. Onto the leg curl, same thing. This was in the 2-4 days. Super slow was around and known, and Ken was probably still maybe a little bit in and out of Gainesville at that time, but I never saw him. Um, my training speed was more 4-4, more a little more slower. Anyway, leg curl. My hamstrings were toast. I could barely stand up to wobble into the pullover. Same thing with pullover. Um, Arm cross, chest, all the way down the line. I worked harder than I had ever known before. After pullover, my head was already swimming. I was already dizzy, confused. Couldn't really think of my name and where I was. I was getting even more and more and more confused. Um, After the tricep machine on the line, we went to chin up or pull up on the multi exercise. I did one, maybe two. I couldn't even finish that. He quickly put me in leg press. I did 4 repetitions and said, I need to go to the bathroom. I got to the bathroom as quick as I could and threw up. I did not make it to the toilet. I threw up on the floor. I feel bad. But I was sure. I was like, oh, I'm not getting the job. I'm not getting the job. But as soon as I cleaned myself up, they took me upstairs to the deli. There was a little deli over the swimming pool area. Oh, no, over the locker room area. Um, and Ken Cornell now, um, was my third interview, and he hammered me immediately, fast with questions, just boom, 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 and sometimes repeating questions. It was as it was. They had made the workout interview a truth serum, so anything I asked after, I was in such a state of stress and overwhelmed, helmet head and everything. That why? Yeah. No, I haven't stolen anything. I stole some toilet paper once. Things like that. They were asking, boom, 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 boom. Um, and in retrospect, it was a really effective tool to see how well someone can handle themselves under stress. I was surprised to that I got the job. Um, I think they told me right after the workout interview. I'm not sure. I got the job, and I'm going to make another video about the shadow team, but um, I'm going to start with the shadow team because that is still part of the interview process. The interview process was not just 3 interviews. It was pretty much 2 weeks long. So shadow process is where they put you with a very knowledgeable, very experienced floor trainer. And the floor trainer would go through normal day of training, and we were to watch that instructor trainer very closely. The manager would watch us, and as soon as they saw us looking somewhere else, looking around, not eyeballs on the trainer all the time, as soon as they saw us, they would come over, give us a warning. You need to be watching the trainer. Don't be looking around. This is shadow team. You're shadowing the trainer. Watch them. Inevitably, and everybody did, they would do it a second time. Just start looking around. Boom. The manager would get you. In this case, I think it was Bart. And you got sent home. And you would say, all right, this may or may not work. We want you to go home, come back on your next shift. We'll try again. I need you to be focused next time. I've said before, and I'll say it again, I nearly crapped my pants when he told me that. I thought I'd lost the job. So The next time, like the saying, white on rice, I was stuck to my shadow. I was the shadow completely. Um, and I'll go more into how the shadow team works in another video. But I'm going to review three-part process. First interview was a regular process. Sometimes, in my experience, we would do all three in one day. Not usually. They were usually one, then workout interview, and immediately the post-workout interview. After I was working there a while, 3 years, 3 years, they added a element into the post-workout interview that worked out really, really well. It was basically a wooden kindergarten puzzle, and I think there were 12, 15 pieces to it. Pretty basic, very basic. And right after the interview, we would have someone sit down and try to put the puzzle together in a certain amount of time. Usually an amount of time that they couldn't do it. I don't think I ever saw anybody do it. I heard someone finished it in the amount of time, and it was shocking. But most people did not do it. And what they looked for was the reaction. If someone kind of gave up or slumped, and we would question if person's going to fit. If the person said, "Let me try again," or something to that effect, or "I can do it," that raised their prospects up a bit. So how they reacted to that test was a lot more than the test. One of the other things that was done is a panel, the post-workout interview. I'm sorry. The pre-workout interview, the first interview, was changed to a panel interview with some of the members of the shift they would be working with. And most of the panel had to pass them through before they could do the workout interview. So those are some elements of the hiring process, GHFC. At the time I was there, this was between various times of 88 to almost 2000, off and on. The hiring process there was very coordinated, very, I don't want to say studious, very structured, very strict. And it was very productive at weeding out people who weren't going to work out with the team. I will make another video about shadow team, and I hope that one, I think that one will be probably as interesting, if not more interesting. Thanks.